Hey everybody, Kowalski here, checking out one of our hashtag Star Trek Discovery Discussions videos. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about a bunch of exciting theories in relations to Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Okay, so really the only big thing kind of that we need to continue to talk about inside of Season 3 is to what the heck is going on with the burn and what does all that really mean? Now, I do think it has some kind of connection to the Discovery. It's got some kind of connection to Calypso, but it also has a kind of a mystery factor that we're not quite sure about. But before we get into the burn stuff, let's take that and put that over here. We also have some other interesting news that we want to talk about, so inside of the Ready Room clip for this upcoming episode, Terra Firma Part 1 and 2, we also had Cronenberg's character back. He's on the Discovery, and he's talking a little bit about time soldiers, and he makes a fantastic reference to the Kelvin universe, where he says that one of the timelines that was created, that this time soldier that's wearing an amazing version of the TNG Season 1 costume / uniform, by the way, beautifully done, and yes, they digitally redid the badge because some prop person put the wrong badge on him inside of the original shot. So sorry, but they fixed it. And he says that this person not only went forward in time, but across universes from a parallel reality that was created by an incursion of a Romulan mining ship, referring to the Kelvin timeline. So we got kind of our very first really strong connection point to the Kelvin universe here. We've had a few kind of little tastes of it, throughout all the different iterations of Star Trek right now that kind of have their own little flair or homage to the Kelvin. But this is the very first time that somebody's really spoken aloud a plot point from the Kelvin movie, and that was, of course, in Star Trek 2009, where Nero's ship went back in time, and he killed Jim Kirk's dad. He killed George Kirk. He started the whole Kelvin timeline because of Spock trying to stop the supernova and all that stuff like that. Go watch the movie if you don't remember all that. Just go watch the movie. But yeah, so that was really great. I super enjoyed that. I'm very excited to see if they have any other Kelvin things. I know other people are hating the idea of this, but it looks like they're really pushing, like I've already theorized about, they're really pushing the idea of multiple parallel realities and alternate universes and all of these different things, which makes me feel like we're either going to start visiting these things, or it's going to come up as some kind of very strong, important plot point, or they're going to start to interweave these ideas into the things to kind of explain kind of discrepancies of different canon problems or whatever. But I don't think that they're just saying all these things for no reason. There's a reason they're bringing these things up, and I'm very curious as to why. Obviously, the conversation that Cronenberg is having with Hugh Colbert is in relation to Georgiou. She is dying because, as he says in the conversation, one of the effects of time travel is, a breakdown of your molecules and not being able to survive in different time periods. Now, before everybody freaks out, they're like, well, people time travel all the time. I think this is in reference to repeated time travel and also doing huge time travel jumps from where you were to going back really far, really, really far away in either direction, whether back in time or forward in times, and then also crossing universes. Because Hugh Colbert in the clip does say, well, the Discovery jumped time and nobody else is having any problems. And he's like, yeah, but y'all just jumped one time inside of your universe, whereas Georgiou jumped parallel universes and then jumped 900, plus years into the future. So she's all sorts of getting whacked out. She's all sorts of, that's why she had all those crazy things happening to her. So I'm super excited to see what that means and what that actually pans out to be about. And are we going to have other people afflicted with time travel illness? I guess I don't know what they're calling it, but I'm very excited to see that. And it's interesting. They're really adding on to the temporal Cold War stuff and the temporal wars and the temporal accords. I'm super glad that they didn't just do a one-off sentence from the first episode of Season 3. And it's actually coming up more often than I realized, to the point where I really want to know more about what the hell it is that happened. Now they're just teasing us, and I want to know more about it. So it's really cool. It's really, really interesting. I can't wait to see these clips play out. But yeah, so obviously they're going to do something to get Georgiou back in time, or at least back to her original reality. I'm assuming it's going to be back in time because of the Section 31 show. So I think they're going to figure out a way to do that. Maybe it's with the Discovery. That's my current theory. Maybe it's not. Maybe they use a black hole. Maybe they zip around the sun super fast like they did in The Voyage Home. Maybe they use the Guardian of Forever or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited about it, though. I think it's going to be great. So now we need to quickly talk about the burn. So this is kind of like what I'm thinking here, which is essentially, I think that the Discovery itself may have accidentally caused the burn, or perhaps was observing what caused the burn. So my theory around that is centered around a little bit of Calypso and a little bit about this nebula. So I've theorized very heavily that I thought that Georgiou was going to take the Discovery back into time, which sets up the Section 31 show, which supposedly is still going on, and then allows the Discovery to be sitting in that nebula that we see inside of the Calypso short trek, which then the Discovery crew finds in the future. Like, they just kind of like, she jumps back in time, they turn around, there it is, a la Back to the Future 3. With this new nebula that they discussed inside of this episode, I think that the ship sending out the distress call is the Discovery itself. I think that the Discovery inside Calypso reutilized its programmable matter to look older. They parked it in this nebula, and either it accidentally caused the burn, or it was there to observe what it was that caused the burn as it went through time and maybe kind of resonated from that specific location. That maybe it wasn't the Discovery itself sending out that distress call, but maybe it was observing it, and then it started to, send out a distress call saying, hey, I saw what it was, come get me, I saw what it was, I know what caused the burn, come get me, I've got all the data. And that also explains why the Zora construct exists, which we kind of got teased a little bit earlier on in the season. That is a mixture of, I think, of Arium, the ship's computer AI, and also the sphere data, kind of collectively gonna joins together and becomes Zora, which over 1,000 years eventually occurred, so it just kind of hung out there, kind of figuring out its, existence, and then we had the whole craft plot and all that jazz, and then eventually it saw what was going on with the burn, and then it started sending out that distress call. So I think that that's what happened. I still think that's what's going on, and I think the big reveal once they decode this distress call that they're trying to work on is that it's going to be the Discovery itself, that it's something that they've already done and they have to do again in order to find out what it was that caused the burn. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to be a little bit of a leap of faith based off of a couple of things. So the Ready Room clip that we saw for the next episode, also with the preview trailer for the next episode, looks as though Georgiou needs to get back. She needs to get back in time. It's got to happen. A couple of options there for time travel, which is slingshotting around the sun, utilizing the Discovery and the mycelial network to do kind of whatever the writers needed to do, and then also potentially the Guardian of Forever, and there's a few other things, maybe an Iconian Gateway or something like that, but I doubt that. So I think what they're going to do, and based off of a line that Saru says in the preview trailer, which is the needs of the many should not, need to outweigh the needs of the one or the few, and this is too much of a risk or something like to that nature, which I think is a discussion of, are they going to let Georgiou take the Discovery back in time to park it in this hidden nebula in order to save her life, but also to potentially observe the burn, and then that's what they're going to do there. I think that maybe it's like a big risk, that maybe it's not actually going to work out that way, but maybe perhaps after they realize that these, the distress call itself is the Discovery, that they're going to realize that they've already actually made this decision, and it's just happening all over again, and kind of just like a nice little loop, and it's just kind of loops itself around, and that's kind of it. That's what I think is going on with the burn right now. With that being said, I don't think that we actually still know the cause of it. I would be surprised if they're going to blame the Discovery for sending out the distress call for being the reason for it. That would be kind of weird as to why suddenly it would have done that. I don't know. Or maybe the Zora, AI just freaked out and was super upset that nobody came back, so it just sent out a message to kind of, as like a rogue AI, kind of like Cortana from Halo or something like that. I don't know. But that's what I think is kind of going on. I think it's going to be something kind of related to that, and that it's going to observe what occurred at the burn site and that resonated from that location, but it wasn't exactly the Discovery itself. It was just kind of hanging out there. But that's my theory right now. Alrighty, guys and gals, that pretty much wraps up my theory video. I don't really have too many other theories kind of going on right now. Obviously, there's stuff going on with Adira that I don't really know what to make of that. They're kind of going through some serious issues there, so it is what it is. I will figure out more of that later. Maybe I'll be able to kind of actually get some good theories going on there. And then, obviously, there's still things happening in the universe, but we don't really know too much about what's happening elsewhere for me to kind of build any more theories off of. So these are the big theories. I just wanted to get them out there, and I did want to go ahead and talk about that Kelvin reference as well. I thought that was really, really cool. So let me know what you think about my ideas. Let me know your theories. Get your comments up down below. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps you stay up to date with all of the latest Star Trek news, reviews, edits, discussions, and whatever else in relation to the Star Trek universe. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!